This video is intended for informational purposes only and does not include a complete description of all applicable regulatory requirements. It should not be considered a substitute for comprehensive training required by law or your organization's policies. Employers are responsible for ensuring that employees receive proper training to meet all regulatory and safety standards. Cal Carpenters is demonstrating one possible approach, but there are many acceptable methods. System scaffold parts consist of several key components: screw jacks for height adjustment and leveling. Vertical legs are standards, which vary in length from 2 feet to 10 feet. Bearers, which provide the main support for scaffold decking and are generally no more than 5 feet in length. If decks are wider than 5 feet, trusses should be used for extra support. Trusses are reinforced horizontal components designed for system scaffold platforms. Braces keep the scaffold square and plumb, maintaining strength and rigidity for the entire assembly. Side brackets are engineered components used to extend the work deck beyond the basic scaffold framework. There are many more system scaffold parts, but these are the basic components you need to know. Before setting base, look up and around for hazards like power lines, tree branches, or building protrusions. Start by laying out the horizontal bars on the ground. Check that all components fit properly before assembly. This prevents misalignment later. Inspect parts and connections for any problems that could compromise stability. Always adhere to the scaffold manufacturer's instructions for assembly and load limits. Before erecting system scaffold, make sure base plates or mud sills are in place to distribute weight evenly. Why do we use mud sills? Load distribution. Scaffolds carry significant weight from workers, tools, and materials. A mud sill spreads this load over a larger area, preventing scaffold legs from sinking into soft soil or damaging surfaces. Scaffold jack requirements. Scaffold screw jacks can have a maximum exposed thread of 12 inches, provided at least 6 inches are inserted into the scaffold leg. This means 1/3 of the jack can be exposed, with 12 inches as the maximum thread exposure. Stability and safety. Without mud sills, scaffold legs can shift or sink unevenly, creating instability and increasing the risk of collapse. OSHA and other safety regulations require proper footing for scaffolds. Mud sills or base plates are part of these standards to ensure safe working conditions. Level foundation. Uneven or soft ground can compromise scaffold integrity. Mud sills provide a level, solid foundation, even in challenging conditions. As you start setting vertical legs, never leave a leg unattended. An unsecured post can easily fall and cause injury. Whenever possible, work with a partner. System scaffolding is more efficient with 2 people. While it's possible to work alone in some cases, having help reduces risk and speeds up the process. Remember, proper footing, secure posts, and teamwork are key to a safe and efficient scaffold setup. As you start installing horizontal bars into vertical legs, remember, efficiency and safety go hand in hand. Work corner to corner, setting one scaffold bay at a time. This method keeps your hands free and your workflow smooth. There's always something to do when setting scaffolds, whether it's staging materials, prepping the level, or making minor adjustments along the way. Stay focused, stay productive, and keep moving forward. Every step you take builds a stronger, safer structure. Let's do it right, and let's do it together. Taking measurements off walls or control lines is a smart practice to keep your scaffold square and true. Accuracy matters, it's what keeps your structure safe and professional. Remember to install horizontal bars at the next wrap. This ensures all legs are plumb before you make your final level adjustments. Every check, every measurement, and every adjustment brings you closer to a solid, reliable scaffold. Stay sharp, stay focused, and build with confidence. What is a wrap? A wrap is the assembly of 2 bearers and 2 runners that create the lower or upper half of the bay. When scaffold decks are wider than 5 feet, what should be used for extra support? The correct answer is B, trusses. Trusses are reinforced horizontal components designed for system scaffold platforms. What is the primary purpose of braces in a scaffold system? The correct answer is C. To keep the scaffold square and plumb, braces maintain strength and rigidity for the entire assembly. What are side brackets used for in system scaffolding? The correct answer is B, to extend the work deck beyond the basic framework. Side brackets are engineered components for deck extension. Which of the following is not mentioned as a basic component of system scaffolding? The correct answer is D, toe boards. Toe boards were not listed in the provided content. As we set the base, remember, do not lock any cups until the next wrap of runners and bearers are installed. This ensures your scaffold stays plumb and square. It's also a good practice to use as many small bars as possible while leveling. Longer bars are more prone to bending or warping, which can compromise accuracy. Every detail matters. Take your time, work smart, and build a scaffold that stands strong and true. When adjusting the scaffold base, it's a good practice to use only one level. Different brands can show different readings because of variations in the liquid inside the vial. Yes, more than one person can help level the base, but make sure the main person makes the final adjustment using the same level. Consistency is key to accuracy. Remember, a level scaffold is a safe scaffold. Take the time to do it right. Precision today prevents problems tomorrow. Working together is vital in scaffold assembly. Teamwork keeps the process safe and efficient. We're now almost ready to start locking cups at the base. After locking the base cups and moving to the next wrap, it's a good practice to plumb out the legs before locking those cups. Some legs may lean in or out. Correcting this early on ensures a strong and square scaffold. Scaffold planks must extend at least 6 inches, but no more than 12 inches beyond their supports when the platform is 10 feet or less in length. When the platform is greater than 10 feet long, the planks can extend up to 18 inches. If a plank extends less than 6 inches over its support, it must be cleated or otherwise restrained to prevent movement. When installing lapped planks, remember, they must only be lapped over a support, and each plank must overlap the other by 12 inches. These details matter. Every inch counts towards safety and stability. Stay precise, stay focused, and build with confidence. Whenever a working platform is installed, always add guardrails according to OSHA or jobsite standards. Guardrails are your first line of defense against falls. They protect you and your team. Never skip this step. Safety isn't optional, it's essential. Build smart, build safe, and make guardrails a priority every time. The top rail must be between 42 inches and 45 inches above the platform. The mid-rail must be installed approximately halfway between the top rail and the platform. These measurements matter. Every guardrail you install is a commitment to safety. Stay focused, stay compliant, and protect what matters most, your crew. As you continue building your scaffold, here's a smart safety tip. Always install a ladder or access before moving on to the next lift. This ensures safe and easy access for everyone. Now, you might be wondering, what about scaffold erectors? Yes, it is legal for erectors to climb horizontal components as long as they're parallel, level, and spaced no more than 22 inches apart vertically. But remember, best practice is always to provide proper access. Safety first, every time. Once you reach the first lift, make sure to 100% tie off. Safety isn't optional, it's essential. Keep in mind, Cal OSHA requires full tie-offs at 7.5 feet, while federal OSHA requires them at 10 feet. Most job site regulations will be even more stringent, so always know your site's rules. Continue installing horizontal bars, remembering this best practice. Install bars from the bottom up while erecting the scaffold and from the top down when dismantling. Every step matters. Stay tied off, stay compliant, and keep building with confidence. You've reached the final steps of your Cuplock scaffold build. Before releasing the scaffold for use, take time to ensure every component is properly installed and secure. Now, the most important step. Inspection by a competent person. This individual has the knowledge and authority to identify hazards and take corrective action. Their approval means your scaffold meets safety standards and is ready for service. Once the scaffold passes inspection, apply the green tag. That tag is your indicator. It tells every worker this scaffold is safe or unsafe to use. Remember, safety doesn't end when the build is complete. It ends when the scaffold is inspected, tagged, and verified. Build strong, build safe, and finish with confidence. In conclusion, we've covered the essential principles for setting the base, the reasoning behind using mud sills, the importance of horizontal bearers and runners, key system scaffold components, and the critical role of a competent person in inspecting scaffolds. Every step we discussed is about one thing: safety. When you build with precision and follow these practices, you're not just assembling a scaffold, you're creating a secure foundation for success. Stay focused, stay compliant, and always make safety your top priority. Build strong, build smart, and build safe.